So you can put the finishing touches on Super Bowl Sunday from New Orleans. I guess all that's left to do is some Monday morning quarterbacking for Super Bowl 59, which was kind of a super stinker. The final score right there, 40-22, but really never that close, as Pat Mahomes was able to tack on a few garbage time touchdowns to make it closer than the final score would appear. The Eagles got off and running early in this one, and you had a feeling that it might be a blowout, especially when this young man right here, celebrating his 23rd birthday, Cooper DeJean, had a pick six, took it to the house. Pat Mahomes had a rough Sunday, spent most of the day getting acquainted with the rug at the Caesars Superdome. He was on his backside, thanks to an outstanding effort from that Philadelphia Eagles defense. They were awesome. And I've said it time and time again, defense wins championships. In every sport, especially football. Mahomes, 257 yards, passing on 21 of 32 attempts, 6 sacks. I mentioned he tacked on a few late touchdowns, so he had 3 TDs, 2 interceptions. Pick your hero for the Eagles. Any one of these guys could have been MVPs, especially the defensive players. Quarterback Jalen Hurts, he did earn the MVP honors, no argument with that. QB usually takes it, and he played like a champion Sunday. 17-22, 221 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Rushing the ball, he had 11 carries, 72 yards, and a push-tush into the end zone for a TD. Saquon Barkley, pedestrian. I think he had 6 receptions to go along with 57 carries on 25 yards. 25 carries, 57 yards. Smith and Brown did their thing well for the Eagles. They got open, and they each scored a touchdown. The defensive players, I mentioned Cooper. He's fabulous. Josh Sweat at the bottom, 2 tackles, 2.5 sacks. Zach Bond, 3 tackles, 9 INT. Milton Williams easily could have been the MVP as well. 3 tackles, 2 sacks. Pick your hero. Eagles go on to victory. No three-peat for Pat and the Chiefs. History will have to wait. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they were sizzling hot after starting the season 2-2, winning 17 of their final 18, capped off again with the Super Sunday win. They have a brilliant head coach with a lot of fire in his belly, Nick Sirianni. And the media caught up with him and asked the coach what the difference was throughout this season in earning that Super Bowl 59 victory, and he said it was like a roller coaster ride, and despite being scorching hot and going on a great run, they had to deal with and face adversity and overcome bouts of it throughout the season.
I think at the end of the day, you saw this team embrace adversity throughout the entire year. Now, it's hard to say that when you won 16 out of your last 17, but there was adversity. There's adversity constantly, and I think we did a good job of embracing that, the ups and downs of a season, and getting better from the things that we went through.
And again, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni, he and his team will enjoy their victory parade this week in Philly, PA, and you can bet Philly was quite the scene last night in only the way that Philly could be. Catch my drift? A little nutty. There you see it. Having a lot of fun in Philly. Maybe too much fun. Things got a little bit out of hand, as this reporter shows you. Light pole yanked out of the street. They broke a window at Macy's. There were other reports and video of fans fighting with police. But again, that's Philly, PA. As for some of the other highs and lows, or lowlights, highlights from the game. Taylor Swift was shown on the Jumbotron. I'm not sure she was that pleased with the reaction the fans gave her. And an ode to the great play-by-play announcer Marv Albert, the Boo Birds were out. Take a look and a listen to the crowd who acknowledges Swift, and she acknowledges them. And while Taylor Swift gets booed, Donald Trump became the first sitting president in the history of the United States to appear live at the Super Bowl. He stayed through the first half. During the national anthem, which, by the way, was done by Jon Batiste, I thought he did a pretty decent job. A lot of people out there complaining, but to me, if you don't forget the words and you're respectful and you like to put your own twist on it in a reasonable way, go for it. I thought he did well. The president, he popped up on that Jumbotron at the Superdome. And you know what? The crowd went wild with an ovation. Take a look, take a listen. There you have it, as the crowd goes wild at the Superdome for the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, looking to make America great again. Kendrick Lamar, the halftime show. I don't know what the hell I was watching yesterday, but that was the entertainment they put forth. Now, excuse me for not being privy to the inside battle ensuing between Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and Serena Williams, who was a extra, I guess, with the dancers in Kendrick Lamar's troupe. I saw the douchebag with the Palestine flag, who is supposedly part of Lamar's 400-person ensemble, but the NFL didn't expect that to happen, did they? And much later than anticipated, security was able to wrestle him out of the scene, but he was able to get his message out there. So, the halftime show, what can you say? Not a fan. I'd much rather have a Hall of Fame group that has a little bit more substance and sustainability. I know Kendrick Lamar's hot. He's won a bunch of Grammys, this, that, and the other thing. He's 25 years old. In other words, give me someone who has produced and would be, I would say, equatable to a Tom Brady in football, like Prince, who put on arguably one of the great performances back in 2007. How about a Hall of Fame act like The Who, the last classic rock band in 2010? Was it last year that we had Usher? Usher has been there, done it for quite some time. He's a Hall of Famer in his own right. Wasn't crazy about Kendrick Lamar. But it's all, like I said, ancient history now. Commercials, like Kendrick Lamar, like the game, not blown away by any one of them. In particular, the whole Dunkin' Donut. I'm a huge Dunkin' Donut fan. Live from my Dunkin' more than one time a day some days, right? I love my coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, but I'm not too crazy about the whole Ben Affleck, J-Lo, that whole crew, and I don't know. I thought last year I saw enough of that. They continued that on. Was a good commercial with Matthew McConaughey for the Uber Eats, where they equate the lineage of history to the NFL to being associated with food, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then one of the parodies, they go through the 80s, and there was a ode to Mike Ditka, so I liked that commercial. But otherwise, yeah, the commercials were pretty forgettable. So it was pretty much everything on Super Sunday. However, my prediction wasn't all that bad. I had a nail biter and the Eagles winning, but if you took the over and you took the Eagles as underdogs, that was a pretty good Super Bowl on Sunday. I was off on the score, but I picked the over, picked the winner on the line, and had the Eagles with the W. So Philadelphia, party on. Kansas City, well, you've had a lot to celebrate over the last few years. Look at the last 10 Super Bowl winners. Half of them belong to the Eagles. The other half belong to the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, the Eagles now move up. You see it here from The 1-win Super Bowl teams, they'll bump up to that pack of 2-win Super Bowl teams. At least I have my New York Giants with 4 Super Bowl wins. I saw them all in my lifetime. I don't know if I'll ever see another one again, but there's always hope. And for the 31 other NFL teams, that's what you have heading into next season.